Here is a tip that I think it shouldn't be a tip, but it needs to be given this day and age of fitness. And that is, if you have a very, very clear, specific body composition related goal, build muscle, lose weight, body fat, recomposition, something along those lines, because that's the only context that my fitness advice really pertains to. But the tip is that you should not be changing your exercises so frequently. For some reason, this idea and thought has gotten so blown out of proportion when it comes to these goals, and it just doesn't work that great, if at all, for some people. What, in my opinion, you should be doing is picking a schedule. So how many days per week do you want to train? What days of the week do you want to train? Are you going to do an asynchronous schedule? Whatever the case may be. Pick which body parts you want to train on said days. Figure that out. And then pick a handful of exercises per body part that you enjoy, that feel good, and have a ceiling to progress a little bit. So you're not going to pick a half kneeling banded row press for your shoulders because you're going to go from 20 pounds to 25 pounds and then you're going to be done. I'm just throwing out a silly example compared to a seated shoulder press, machine, dumbbells, barbell, whatever, where the loadability, the repetition increase has a little bit of a higher ceiling. So that's what I mean by ceiling. And run that for like 6 weeks. At the end of 6 weeks, reassess. Are you still making progress on some lifts? If you are, keep them in for another 6 weeks. If some lifts are stalling out, before you even change out the lift, I recommend doing a soft reset, maybe training a different rep range for a little bit, still keep those lifts in, and then follow suit again. So the next 6 weeks, if that lift again stalls, change it out. If lifts are still progressing, keep them in. This part doesn't need to be complicated, and it's gotten very complicated for a lot of people because there's just analysis by paralysis and information overload, and it's wild out there. But some people are going to be like, oh, well, that's boring. Well, it's boring because you're not making progress. If you are improving your reps, if you are improving your form, if you are improving your weights, if you are increasing volume based on recovery, if your physique is changing, what's wrong with that, right? That's the goal that you set out for. And if you are hitting those, it's not very boring. If you're reaching your goals and you're still bored, then maybe that's not your goal. So if you have very clear goals in mind that relates to body composition, pick lifts, run them for at least 6 weeks, reassess, see where you're at, keep them in, or potentially change a variable of those lifts, do it again for 6 weeks, and then at that point in time, if you need to rotate them out, go ahead and do so.